Okay, with our skill drills, one of the things, the important factors that we really want to start with are some good fundamentals. So we're going to kind of show you a couple of the areas that we want to look at here, starting with basically just the stance. So I'm going to have Austin get in kind of just a really good athletic stance, pose, position, and kind of show you some of the angles, keeping in mind that not every bowler is going to be in the exact same position. That's one thing I definitely want to stress, from the coaching perspective, is that we're not trying to make everybody by the same book. That's not the philosophy that I coach under, and it's not the philosophy that I really want to try and impress upon. But there are some better things to look at, and especially if you've got some players that are having some problems, some issues in some of these certain areas, then the kind of the standard fundamental areas are probably good places to look at and maybe kind of get them into those positions. Again, what we want to look at: body position. Okay, position of the back right here, knee flex, upper body. We've got an upper body position that we would look at and a lower body position that we look at from that part of it. So if you want to just set the ball down for a second, then get back up here. So you're going to see some players that maybe are a little bit too upright, even back a little bit like that, to the point that you can even see they're back on their heels. Okay, again, not necessarily bad or good, but it's one of those situations that now if this person starts and they tip over a little bit, probably not a good fundamental position to be in. And the other position that's going to happen is we're going to bend over too much, okay? They're going to be bent really down here at the waist. Shoulders a little bit too far forward. Kind of another indication sometimes that maybe the equipment's not right. Could be a little bit too heavy and it's making me bend over to kind of hang on to it. So these types of positions kind of show you some of the angles that you need to be looking at, maybe some potential flaws that you want to look at to improve upon. Knee position and lower body position. We want to have a little bit of flex, okay? Flex down a little bit. Again, we don't have to get carried away. They don't have to be down here at 90 degrees, but it's going to match up that person's body. The key thing that we're looking for here is that there's a lack of tension in the body. If I see somebody standing dead straight erect, just stiff up, just like that, okay, what's going to happen when we start is we're really going to be stiff and tensed into the approach, and it's not going to give us a good fluid motion for our start. So we want to have a little bit of flex. It doesn't have to be super crazy, but just enough to take the kind of the tension out of it just a little bit. All right, now get your ball back. Now we're going to add the ball to that position. And where we're going to position that, we're going to look at three things with the bowling ball position. Where's it at front and back, okay? Where's it at up and down, okay? And where's it at left and right from that direction? Again, without necessarily trying to make everybody exactly the same, we'll look at some good starting points that if the bowlers are having some issues with that aspect of it, some things that as a coach you can kind of look at and put them in position. I've got some angles here that I can really rely on. So we look at this one first from this front to back. So Austin holds his out just a little bit further, which is fine for him. Not every bowler is going to want to probably do that. We look at this angle right here and bring that back, and now I've got some nice solid angles right here that I can use as a reference point to put them in position. So again, not everybody's there. Maybe some people are going to be a little bit closer, right? Maybe some people are going to be a little bit further out like Austin. Again, we kind of match that to our individual player styles and kind of let that develop within their own game. Same thing with the height, okay? You see he's kind of in the middle. That's probably the suggested area that we look at from there. So again, I've got an angle right here with this forearm and the shoulder angle. So as I go lower down, now I've got this angle extended this way. As I come further up with that, now I've got a sharper angle at this point. So again, those are areas that you look at and see if there's some adjustments needed. If not, kind of the rule of thumb in this particular point is if you see something but it's not really causing a problem, then that's probably not necessarily something that you want to key on at this point. Pick out some of the priorities that are going to be more critical to really advancing this player's game and key on those issues as opposed to just trying to make everybody look exactly the same. That's not necessarily the best coaching method. Okay, the other position of the ball we're going to look at is the left-right position. So again, we'll have Austin get up here and position the ball. What we're going to see, again, I've got another angle here that I can look at with the shoulder and the arm line, so I can see whether I'm a little bit too far in or a little bit too far out. What this is going to cause, and commonly causes, when that ball gets out of position there, this is probably one of the more critical of the three positions, to where it needs to be a little bit closer to, I hate saying the book aspect of it, but this one can cause some problems with that arm swing. As we get inside, that ball gets started too much in the middle. That way, you can see right now what's going to happen as that ball starts down, it's going to have to loop around the body. We're going to create a swing out and around automatically. If I start out here, kind of overdo the other direction, basically what's going to happen is the way the ball is just going to let me take that ball straight back behind me, and it's going to create, you know, an improper swing at that point. So both areas, although that can work, there are some bowlers that can kind of get away with that, probably not the most conducive to be able to repeating a good, nice, straight swing that's going to allow that person to be able to hit their line on a repetitive basis. So get back in the front. Again, we look at this angle right here, nice and straight and sharp. Gives me a little bit of half over the shoulder right there, and it's going to allow me to be able to drop that ball right into the swing as we start our approach.